think that's a good point. And number 3, looking religious, spiritual, or just plain good. If your goal is to look good, you will not only end up not feeling like you achieved that, but you will end up looking not good. Almost guarantee it. If your goal is to look religious, you won't look truly spiritual. And if your goal is to look spiritual, you won't be truly spiritual. And if your goal is to look good, God will guarantee that you come to a point where your choice is to do good or look good, and they will not be compatible, and you will have to choose. At that moment, do I do what's right and have everybody that I love think I'm doing the wrong thing, or do I do what's wrong so that everybody thinks I'm doing the right thing? I guarantee you that choice will come. I guarantee it. Because it's another grasping at wind if your goal is to look good. Andy's not here. Am I making any sense this morning? Thank you. 1 Thessalonians 4. Now, about brotherly love, we do not need to write you, for you yourselves have been taught by God to love each other. First of all, isn't that just an incredible compliment? Isn't that just cool? Paul writes you and he says, I don't even need to teach you about love because God's taught you how to do it already. Man, I am repeatedly convicted with how little I love. Repeatedly. I do feel like this Lifesong experience, I have seen a lot of people love each other and it's only been taught by God. I do believe that. He goes on, but I want you to see, I'm giving you the context for the meat here because I want you to see he's not talking about not loving people in what he's about to say. He says, yet we urge you, brothers, to do so more and more. He says, not only have you been taught to love, but you ought to keep going. Keep loving each other more. Then he says, make it your ambition. That's a good, strong word, ambition. That's a good trajectory kind of word, isn't it? Make it your ambition. What's your goal? Where do you want to land? Here it is. Make it your ambition to lead a whole bunch of people to Christ. Is that what he says? Actually, he doesn't. Make it your ambition to know the Scripture forwards, backwards, inside, and out. No, he doesn't say that either. Now, these may be things you should do, but this is not what he's saying here. Make it your ambition to be separate, be unique and weird, so that everyone will look at you and say, that guy's weird. He must be a Christian. He doesn't say that. He says, make it your ambition to lead a quiet life. That's a weird ambition, isn't it? Make it your ambition to lead a quiet life, to mind your own business. It's an interesting phrase, and again, I remind you, the context is not that you should ignore other people. He just said you should love more and more and more. But still, in some way, he's saying lead a quiet life and mind your own business. Pay attention to your business. And work with your hands, just as we told you, so that your daily life may win the respect of outsiders. I want you to notice how peculiar it is that minding your own business and living a quiet life does two things. It has to do with loving people, and it actually wins the respect and influences outsiders. We might think that isn't what leading a quiet life would do. But Paul says it does. Paul says that's the goal, and that's the meat. Make it your ambition to lead a quiet life, to mind your own business, and to work with your hands, just as we told you. God has given you a life, and you go off to work, or you go home to take care of your kids, and you go stir crazy sometimes at home, or you go crazy at work, and you're thinking, what am I doing for God? I should be doing something big. I should be doing something miraculous. I should be doing something huge. I should be doing something loud and noisy. Stephen Curtis Chapman says, live out loud. He can't be wrong. Paul says, make it your ambition to lead a quiet life and mind your business. Do what you're supposed to do. Do what you've been called to do.